Greetings and welcome back once again to From the Depths and to our starting fortress, which I have made a few little changes. Now, I'm not sure if I did this on screen on the last recording, but I've added a couple of repair bots in the engine section just to keep things going. I've also added an extra layer of ammo crates because we are going to be going through ammo with the missile system. And finally, I've added 2 supply pumps. Now, supply pumps are going to be very useful when we have a ship nearby, because you can hit V. That brings up the general information about your vehicle. But if you click on the Resources tab, it'll allow you to set how you're going to move resources around. Now, in a nutshell, from what I can understand, this slider tells it where to stop sending resources. So this red bar shows me how much of that resource I've got. So for ammo, we've got full stock of ammo. And if there's a vehicle nearby that needs ammo, it will start taking ammo from its stockpile down to this point. It will not supply any further ammo once its own stockpile is only halfway. And the same for fuel and spares. It's a little bit more generous with that. Now, we're going to move along, because talking about other vehicles, I have mentioned that we're going to be generally relying on fleets, and I've made a start. This is the medium hull. Actually, I suppose I should quickly point out that I have built up the dock. We've got a vehicle spawner and scrapper, tractor beam, and blueprint spawner, and 4 repair tentacles. But to this, which I'm sure you all want to see, this is the medium hull. It occurred to me that building out new ships by building a ship and then spawning that ship over and over again isn't the best way to do it. Because if I want to make a change to it, for example, say I wanted one of the piranhas from the previous campaign to have had missiles, I would have had to have spawned a piranha regularly with all of its cannon on top, and that would have taken time. Granted, I would have gotten the resources back at the end, but if I just pulled it off and put a missile launcher on top, I wouldn't have wasted resources, but I would have wasted time. But what I've got here is I have saved this as a blueprint. This is the medium hull. It is remarkably expensive, and I'll show you why in just a second. But this is going to be a bit of a blueprint from which I can start on new ships. And in fact, that might lend itself to me not really having a fleet just made of cut and paste ships, but rather each ship will be somewhat unique if I start it from a hull. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, because we may have a very basic design that is just uniform, and I just want to keep that. But to quickly go over this hull, it is very heavily armored. It's got all wooden beams there. It is clad in metal. And down the bottom here, for extra weight and a little bit of extra armor, we have stone as well. It sits very nicely in the water when it isn't being hooked to the fortress by a tractor beam. Oh, and there, fortress for scale. I seem to lack a banana, and it probably wouldn't really give you a sense of scale for something this big, so you're going to just have to accept the fortress. I could paint it yellow if you really want me to, but I think it's good enough there. Now, I have called this a medium hull, even though it is quite large. It's like as big as our fortress, more or less, at least in length. But it is going to be a medium ship. And although this is going to be our flagship, and that's why I'm not starting with a small one, I didn't think it would be wise to start with a humongous ship, because I just would not have the resources to build it yet. As you can see, I'm pretty low on resources as is. My oil, especially, is really, really low. My fuel is good, though. But I'm not liking that too much. Now, we are going to have to start work on this, and I've got a bit of an idea. I'm thinking that my flagship, to start with, is going to be a missile ship. It'll have a deck gun. It might even have 2, maybe one at the front, one at the rear with 180-degree arcs of fire. But I'm thinking that it's going to have an array of vertical missile launchers along either side of the ship, there and there. Not going all the way down the deck, but more in the middle than anywhere else. So we best start segregating this a little bit. So I've got a bit of an idea of where things are going to be. In fact, I'm probably going to have to build this up a little bit, because it's only 3 deep at the moment. And that's not going to be grand, because an engine is going to probably want about 4 just to get the engine in. Then you're going to want a little bit of clearance over the engine so things can move around. So probably going to need to expand this a little bit. But let's go ahead and pop down a mirror line here. I'm thinking we'll have the rear end of the ship will be about here. And most of the internals of the ship are going to be out of wood. Simply because I don't need that to be excessively armored. We're going to have another beam there. Now, I think I'm going to leave that side section clear. The reason I'm going to do that is because I would like a way for any repair bots to move between sections, because I will have a door. In fact, I'm going to put the door in there now, because I really like the doors in this game. It just adds a little bit of class to any vehicle, in my opinion. There we go. There's our door. Eventually, this will all be armor, like metal. Once I've got the resources, there's no reason for me not to. But for now, we'll go with this. We're also going to want, as I said, to build this up a little bit more than we have currently. Now, I think this is as wide as it needs to be, but I could, I suppose, expand it out just a little bit. I'm just not sure I'm going to. That is tall enough now for an engine to fit in. But actually, I'm not content with that. No. We're going to build it up like this. There we go. This will be as large as it is under the deck. And that gives me a platform to understand where I'm going to be able to have a ramp coming down from. So we're going to want a ramp around about here, building downwards. So let's go and see. We want 2 meter down slope. I would actually very much like to have a proper way onto down into this ship, rather than just a hole that I jump through. No. We want something special, and we're only going to have it on one side, because I think that'll add a little bit to the design. Should I use this? No, that's a little bit too long just yet. So we're going to build this out a little bit. And I'm going to do a bit of this building on camera just so you can see what I'm going for. But then I'm probably going to cut the majority of this out, really. You know what? Actually, I can still build this up. That's fine. We'll do this, and we'll allow the repair bots to get in there like so. I think that will be fine. Build that out like that. So the repair bots can enter into the little ventilation system through here. I think that will be more than good enough for them. And we'll build that out as well. Can I get... that's perfect. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Okay, right. So we are going to need some more blocks there. And then another 2 ramps. And we could even probably just bring the ramp all the way down here. And then flatten out this area back there. And then have the ramp just turn down here. Rather than a 2 meter one though, I'll just go for a regular 1 meter slope there. There we go. That's our path down from above. We will add a little bit of extra armor in the space back here, because there's really no reason not to. And there as well. Though, having said that, you know what would be useful here? We could use this as a bit of an ammo area. Or, actually, even thinking about it, because this area back here, I'm thinking we'll use this as a bit of a not so much an engine room, because that's obviously going to be the front of the ship, but this is going to be like an engineering area. We'll have ammo production, ammo storage, fuel production, fuel storage, things that are, and spare crates, that sort of stuff, things that are going to be useful to the operation of the vessel, but are things you generally want to protect, because obviously the rear of the ship is going to be taking fire from the enemy, ideally, less often than the front. So we're going to go ahead and build ourselves a fuel processor right there. And then we will tuck in beside it a fuel tank. Can I put 2? Oh, really? Can I not? I'm a little bit surprised by that. Okay, I'll build out 3 then. Like so, and that will be my fuel storage, just nice and neatly tucked away. We don't need much fuel storage, I don't feel. It does depend a little bit, but with a fuel producer, as long as our engine is running and isn't you know, terribly damaged, then it's going to be able to run these. And I may even build a secondary, because this is going to be a flagship vessel, I may even build a little electric engine powered by the main engine over here, so that if this takes a lot of damage during a fight and does get broken, the little electric engine at the back will still be able to give me enough power to run for a little while, possibly enough power to keep the boat going, whilst my repair bots are fixing the main engine. Now, as for ammo, we're probably going to want that over here. And I'm thinking, let's make some beds for the ammo processors. I don't really know if I want that many, though. Not really. But I suppose this is a main war vessel. It's going to have a lot more weapons. So when I'm out and about fighting stuff, perhaps I will want a lot of ammunition processors. I'm not sure though. I'm not entirely sold on that. But if I have more ammunition processors, I guess on the flip side, I could get away with having less ammo barrels because the ammo processors would be the main way of gathering ammo. And I suppose in a way, I could just say that if I've got, I could always turn the ammo processors off. Can I actually turn it off? Let me just have a quick look at that, because I'm not at all sure that I can. Can I turn you off? No, I cannot. Okay. Well, given that, then we won't have that, but I will have some ammo barrel in between them, like so, and then even too high, I'm thinking, and we will then pad out the armor behind them. Okay, that isn't going to fit, so we'll just pad it out like so. There we go. Okay, this is a nice little engine room. Sorry, engineering section. Actually, I'm quite taken by this. Let's pad out this area. I know that this is a lot of just me building and not really doing interesting stuff, just taking care of aesthetics. But every now and then people ask me to include that. So for those of you who like seeing me puzzling through how I'm going to make something look, this is for you. We will build this. I guess we'll have that built out in much the same way we've got it over there. Except, if that's the case, we want to equalize that a little bit. In fact, I'm not sure I'm sold on that idea. Not unless I get rid of you. Let's get that in. Will that create the... Yes, it will. Okay, well, that's not too bad then. We'll have this fairly equal on that side. In fact, I could then build out more ammo crates on top. You know what? I kind of like that idea, so I'm going to go with it. We'll build this out. Got plenty of defenses here then. Much more armor. And that is what we're going to want on a warship. I won't add the ammo barrels just yet, though, but that's where they would go. We'll build this up like so. Is that built out? Yes. Okay. Right then. Let's get a little bit more built out over here. Actually, at this point, I suppose I could start cutting this out because I'm just going to be working on the hull. But before I get to that, let's see how much of the engine we can build. Because that is going to be expensive in oil, and I do not have much of that to hand. Let me just quickly check where the enemy are. They're a little ways off yet. I will probably end up just building as much engine as I can here, and then cutting out some waiting time. I'll despawn both of these. I'll pull them out of play so that I can get the enemies to get a little bit closer, and also give the... ship time to build up some more resources. Now, as I think I mentioned, if not, then I apologize, but this is what I'm going to plan on doing. We are going to build our engine to have, let's put the cylinders down there, let's actually put the mirror line first. We're going to build the engine as a 3x3, rather than a 5x4, I think it is. We're going to want this crankshaft going one more. There we go. To get the best 3x3 engine, as we saw in my sciencing video when I built the two efficient engines, the 3x3 had this design, and this is pretty much it for this. We'll go one higher, but that's it. We'll probably have... I think we had superchargers between carburetors on the top, if I recall. But let's get this padded out first. There we go. We are really hurting for oil. In fact, we're going to stop there, aren't we? Ah, drat. Okay, well, that's our engine for now. How much power would this put out? Just out of curiosity. 109. Well, that's actually not bad, considering it has no boosting equipment at all. That's not bad for a tiny little engine. But I'm going to go ahead and cut the recording here. I'm going to continue building up the hull. Now that I've got a kind of an idea of what we're going to be doing, we're going to be keeping these areas free for the deck-mounted vertical missile launchers. So they're going to be coming down from the deck. So this area is going to be kind of hard to walk through. And I'm going to have to plan around that, I guess. Maybe I'll have them on this side, leaving one space between the engine and all of the missile silos. That is probably going to be the best way to do that. But I shall bring you back when the enemy are almost upon us. So see you soon. Greetings and welcome back. As you can see, the Deepwater Guard are almost at our doors. In fact, they've even sent more. There's 11 ships here with a strength of 30. 8 there with a strength of 30. 5 there with a strength of 20. And 5 there with a strength of 20 as well. We need to get our fortress is back in play, and that needs to go for both the medium hull and the fortress. Now then, we are on the fortress. I have done a fair bit of work on the ship over there, and I've even made this look a little nicer. It is purely cosmetic. I just decided that I wanted to shape this gun so it looked a little bit more like a gun turret. But before we actually get down to the fighting, let me quickly add some things. We're going to want a fortress controller, we're going to want a chair, and we are going to want a fire control computer just so that I can actually fight if I need to myself. There we go. That is good enough. But to quickly go over what I've done to the hull. Actually, let me bring up the UI. There we go. We've actually got quite a lot of natural. I actually ran out of natural doing this. That is how much wood I have used on this. We really do need to clad it a little bit better because there's now quite a lot of wood out of the water that isn't properly clad. Now that's going to be getting attacked by regular cannons. There's the enemy fleet over yonder. You can see a little bit better because of the sunset by looking at the wireframes there. But that is going to have to be clad in metal as well. But let's have a look inside, shall we? Now we come over here, here's the little way down. Now what I'm thinking of doing is having the bridge section around here. Not central, but on one side of the ship. Maybe a rear deck gun and a forward deck gun. Possibly even 2 on top of each other, as I was explaining previously. And then the missile systems down the middle there. But let's quickly go into the belly of the beast. Now I've got little areas back here, not sure what I'm going to put in there. I might even put some just regular repair bots, perhaps, or a spawn beacon, maybe repair tentacles. All sorts of things could go there. We've got our ammo stockpiles here, as you've seen before, the fuel there. And in here, the large engine section with the air pump. It is actually remarkably heavily armored, and we've got quite a lot of oil. So why don't I quickly finish off this whilst we wait for the enemy to spawn in. Let's go. Ooh. No, is that it? No, no, never mind then. We're not going to have time. We've got to leave this area. Oh my lord, where have I just gone? What just happened there? Did the ship just get despawned? I think it did. Why? I don't know why it got despawned, but I shouldn't have been looking there. I'm sorry. Sorry, weapons. Right, let's get down here, get on this, and I'll try and work out why. I mean, not that I needed to have it in. Oh. Forces 1. I wonder how much my fortress is worth. Fortress is also worth 1. Okay. Well, I don't really know why I got despawned. I'm glad that it did, because I obviously don't really want it in this fight. But let's see how our fortress does. It looks like it's doing a decent amount of damage with its missiles. It's only launching 4 at a time, but it's already gathering resources for me. And I'm pretty happy with that. There they go. They're all selecting different spots. It looks like they're almost out of range. The missiles are shutting down just as they're getting towards their target. But it doesn't really matter because they're doing a huge amount of damage to it. I'm really, really happy with that. Let's rotate the starting fortress just a little bit, though. Let's do this. We go. So the cannon is a little bit closer. Ooh, running low on power, apparently. I'm not sure why that would be. We haven't taken any damage. It's a little bit glitchy sometimes when you do stuff like that. But I can see that there's plenty of power, so the turbines will be charging. And if not, then that is just a bug, and I'm just going to weep because my fortress will get blown up. But here they come. Now, how far away am I from the AI right now? That cannon will probably start engaging before too long. Let me zoom in, have a quick look at this. Let's come up here, go into build mode, shrink it down. Ooh, there we are, never mind. Let me just double check. What did I have this set to, though? When are you meant to be firing? 510, okay, that's perfectly fine. Right, let us, ooh, no, I want to stay on that, but I would very much like my cannon up here. I'm liking the fact that my gun is aiming at the thing that's gotten closer, and my missiles are ignoring it completely to hit the things far away, which my gun won't have as much accuracy on. But my missiles don't have any inaccuracy, at least not until we start facing forces that have some sort of missile defense system. But we are doing a fair chunk of damage to these guys, and we are absorbing all of the metal. It is glorious. The explosive rounds are doing a fair old chunk of damage to this little ship here. And there we go. I was about to say, I think it may have just like jumped up into the path of one of the missiles, but I don't think that's what happened. The missile just didn't hit it. Ooh, it missed the block completely. It looks like two of the missiles chose the same block, but this vehicle is really not that much of a threat now, honestly. I mean, we're taking out the main shield even, and that's pretty tanky. Though they are starting to return fire now, and that's not grand for us, but there we go. This vessel it's all over now. There's nothing it could do. Not with that shield gone. So it's all down to you then. Is that going to start engaging it? No. The cannon is, though. But, oh, they're changing direction, and it looks like you are utterly doomed because those missiles are not going to give up. Fantastic. And another volley coming in. That, to be fair, even though the weapons on my fortress towards the end of the last campaign were significantly more powerful, I would honestly say that these weapons are more useful. They're certainly being more intelligent about what they're doing. I am really happy with how this battle is turning out. There we go. They have been defeated. How much metal and scrap and oil have we got? We've got a fair old return on the time it took to defeat them. And then the next fleet is just up ahead of us. Now what I'm considering doing is using this rough design. Not actually spawning this in, but using a rough design along the lines of this as the forward deck gun for this vessel. In fact, I think we're going to go ahead and start working on that now. We're probably not going to have even remotely enough time to finish it in this episode, but still we can have a go. Alright, let's get round there and back onto the medium hull. Still doesn't have a name yet because I haven't decided on what I'm going to do with it just yet. Right, we could actually have two separate weapon AIs back here if I really wanted to. That actually may be a use for this area. Because I've been puzzling over what I could stick back here, but I actually think that having two different weapon AIs would be pretty nice. One for the... actually having both of the AIs in the same place is probably not a good idea, but at the same time... I could even have one there. Like the weapon AIs would be fine because they only need one card slot. Target prioritization and aim. Let me just double check what the name of that AI card is. There we are. Target prioritization and aim point selection. Tracker target association would be useful if I have trackers on it. But generally speaking, trackers have a fairly short range. I believe it only has a range of about 600. Which, granted, for the turret on the main fortress at the moment, that would be grand. But for the missile system, be useless. And besides, I don't really think the missile system benefits too much for the tracking laser. Maybe I will add that? I'm not sure, though. I think we will actually just go for the AI for now, though. Let's pop down a mirror line. Let's see if this works for AIs. Right, so we want an AI there. We want a side. There we go. We also want... No, that is right. No, it's not. We want front and back because the front of the vessel is in that direction, of course. So there we go. And next we want aim point selection. And finally, target prioritization. There we go. That's not bad at all. Let's go ahead and set these up. So this one will be... I'm going to rename this AI to missile. There we are. And this one to cannon. I'll probably have all the cannons running off that single AI and all the missiles running off this AI. I'm not going to worry too much, but on a very large vehicle, that would actually start being something you'd want to consider. Whether you want all the missile systems using the same AI. But as before, we'll have the missile system prioritizing distant targets. So now all we need is wireless transmitters. We want one there, and that one can be on channel 1, and for the cannon AI, channel 2. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, right, well, we want to work more on the engine then. And for this, we are going to want to drop that down and finish off all the carburetors before we add in the superchargers and get that there too. Yeah, we'll add one over there as well. Before we add in the superchargers and engine's own fuel tanks. Now then, let's see if we can remember how to set this all up. We want engine's own fuel tanks there. That will give this one fuel tanks of 4 and this one fuel tanks of 2. We also want them here. I believe for the basic design, it was literally a case of having it set up to have one after the other. So, engine's own fuel tank, then supercharger, engine's own fuel tank, supercharger, so on and so forth. Let's see. How many? It's just got 2 fuel tanks connected to that. That's fine. Where are the superchargers? There we are. Now it should have 2 to 2. This has got 4 to 4. Not ideal, really, but again, the smaller engine was the least efficient of them. We'll have, I believe, 2 superchargers there as well. Gives me 3 superchargers connected to this one. This one's got 4 of 4. We can have... We could put exhausts on the top. I think we might have... no, actually we didn't. We put carburetors on top, if I recall. I may have to watch that video and adjust this engine to meet what I set up there. But I'm fairly certain we repeated this pattern all the way along. So we'll have 2 of these. Ooh, we've run out. Damn. Okay, well, we're going to strip this back for now then. This should be a much more powerful engine. There we are, maximum power output 3,412. That is not bad at all. In fact, I'm fairly certain that that is more power than this has got. Has this got more power? Yes, it has. Okay, well, we've already achieved one goal. Our flagship is more powerful than our fortress. We'll go ahead and add that in there. Okay, we'll continue to work on this over time. Now, I could add in a small electric engine, but for now, I'm not too worried about that. Instead, I think we should probably have a look at setting up the missile controllers for the missile systems. Now, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to set those up yet. I'm thinking if we have it come down here, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'd have, if I had the missile bays flush with the floor, we'd have 3, because we'd need the bottom one, of course, for the missile launch pad itself. I mean, we could do that. There's nothing stopping us, I suppose. However, if we removed this armor here, so we just had slightly less capable armor on the sides, we would be able to have 2 rows of them. So we would have 4 running off 1 controller. And I kind of like that option, if I'm perfectly honest. We would have them in clusters of 4. Let's make sure the mirror line is there. Yes, it is. Then let us remove. We'll start about here. We'll remove this. And we'll remove the blocks above it. There we go. Right, we'll add in regular wood blocks there. And also regular wood blocks in the middle there. There we are. Right, so this is where we're going to have this system set up. The only problem here is I'm going to need to remove even more in order to get a weapon AI controller. Oh, actually, no, we won't. What I was thinking was that if I'm going to have the missile system here, if I have the missile controller here, for example, in the middle there, and actually what we'll want is to have this facing out, not up. That way we can have all 4 nestled in properly. Ah, come on, get up there. We've got enemies on the way, stop dicking me around. Right, there we go. There we are. Right, pull this back so it's facing forward because it can connect to a 6-way missile connector at the front. There we are. Now that should be mirrored on this side. Yes, it is. Glorious. But it can also connect to both sides, which is exactly what we want. We want the missile launch pads. We want to be aiming up. There we go. And because I'm weird, no, actually that'll work. I am still weird, but it'll work a little bit better than I was thinking. Okay, so this is the setup here. We're not going to have staggered fire. We should have, realistically speaking, friend or foe, though. That is kind of a necessity. This is a very tight build. Trying to think of how I can manage this. I don't think there's an easy way of doing it. Unless I could build a friend or foe. No, I think I'm just going to have a ramp going over this with the friend or foe there. It'll have to be done. We do need the friend or foe on it. Otherwise, we're going to be shooting our own men. Connects to missile control pad. That's exactly what we want. Okay, let's get the blocks. So we want a wood block, and we want a simple ramp. That is completely not right. Put one there, and put it there as well. Okay, there we go. So we can walk up over this. Right, back to the missiles then. We want the missile blocks locked in place. And we want 2. So that's 1 level, 2 levels, 3 levels, and finally 4 levels on both. Ah, you know what? I don't like that at all. I would like that to be mirrored in a way. So what we're going to do is, currently I'm facing that way. If I lock it and turn that way, no, okay. Maybe that way. Is that right now? There we go. That way the missiles will be loaded, kind of facing away from each other. I know it's stupid, but, well, I am stupid, and you should know this by now. Alright, there we go. That's our missile system. That one missile launcher here controls all of these. We want to set them up, though, first. This is not going to be a particularly long-range missile system unless I only go with 1 fin. And I could do that. I could have 1 turn as well. It's not going to be the most accurate, though. And therein is a very big problem. I guess we're just going to have to live with the fact that these are going to be coming up 1 out of the overall design on both sides. There we go. Right, let's try this again. We want augmented Proportional navigation guidance. We want infrared seeker at the front. Where are you? There we are. We want an explosive warhead right behind that. We could have one turn, and I think we do kind of need it. Yeah. So that means either we go with the camera or we just let them just wail on the same block. Potentially missing everything. I think a camera is necessary for this. It's still going to have a fair range on it. It's not going to have the maximum range, but we'll see how that goes. If we had this as a guided missile system, so it had a laser beam, then it would be able to get to its target a little bit easier. We wouldn't need the camera there. Yeah, I think this is ultimately going to be the better system. So we'll set that up. Check out if that is not set up on that side. So what we'll do is we're going to save this as... we're going to save it. Let's think of a missile name. We will call this the Wasp. Wasp Mark 1. There we go. So that is our basic missile system. We will add this one here as well. Load Wasp Mark 1. Exit. Edit this. Make sure it is set to all of the missiles on this one. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got 2 missiles set up. Now we just need a few more seconds to set up the AI. And then I'm probably going to wrap this episode up just to torture you. Have a local weapon controller. We do not want that attached there. Is that the same on both sides? Yes, it is. Okay, we want this to be... We haven't checked yet, but I'm certain it's not going to be as long range as the other. So we're going to set this to 700 for now, just so that we've got something set up. And then I'll check out, make sure that this can work properly. Set this to 700 as well. There we go. Just all the way down. That is near enough. Finally, we want a wireless receiver on channel 1 on both sides. And last but not least, a failsafe on both. So that has given me some missiles. Now I'm going to be repeating that pattern of missiles across all of them. That is the missile AI. Okay, good. Right, okay. We may have a few seconds just to test out the maximum range of this. Let's open that up. We're going to launch this missile. Actually, I can't really see where I'm aiming. Let's go up there. If I go ahead and launch this missile about there, follow, and then start watching. Wow, this is taking a long time to turn. Okay, that is not good at all. That is actually terribly bad. We are going to need the second fin, because these will never get where they're going otherwise. Drat. We're going to have to adjust the Wasp missile, but I'm not going to do that in this episode. You're going to have to look forward to that in the next, and another fight in the next. I do apologize for this one taking a little longer than expected, but that's what happens when I get building. But I do hope you enjoyed it all the same, and I hope you will join me for the next, where we're going to be in a fight straight away. But until then, and as always, do take care.